Alright guys, welcome back. Another video, kicking off this session. It's Sunday this time, Sunday fun day. Got the Camel here. We're going to continue sanding, hopefully get some colour on the tail plane, and then the lead up to need to fit some gussets and get some fabric onto the fuselage. Enjoy the video. Right, on the elevator, you can see I've just been sanding the edges. Now pretty much with the dusting pistol to blow that off. Yeah, dusting pistol and a rag, clean rag. I'm due for a new one. With two hands, I wipe and spray the air, get it all off, and just get a nice finish on the taped edge. And the dust also helps sort of highlight any cracks or deficiencies that I can iron down. Using I went and got some 320 grit open cut sandpaper. I think because I'm rolling it on, I need something with a bit more oomph. I get a lot more dust. And then in the bays, I'm just using just a Scotch-Brite, and that just takes the what I call the bum fluff off the centre bits. You do get a couple of little, eye spots. We'll keep going with that. I think I've got one more to go. Yeah, you can see those sides are done. One more side to go. And then we'll put another coat of the Eco Fill on, and hopefully that's enough. All sanded down. It's starting to look pretty good, guys. So another coat of Eco Fill and walk away. We might get the second coat on today, depends how long I hang around for. It'd be nice to get two coats on, then it's done. Then we need to talk about colour schemes. Might have to head down to Bunnings today and get some paint. But it's going to be great to get some colour on these. It's taken up a lot of my time and attention. I thought I'd be sort of doing these and working on the fuselage, but the focus is just on these and getting all those tapes down flat to get a reasonable result. Now a few people have mentioned, hey, it's 1916 World War I aircraft, just slap it on. Well, that's my sort of get out of jail free. So we'll aim for an A+, and if we walk away with a B+, like I always say, happy with a B+. Then I can rely on the real one had a few bloopers in it. And if I just intentionally go slap hazard now, yeah, you know the result. Let's lay some paint. Alright guys, so I snuck out here. There's only 2 days you can't do something. That's yesterday and tomorrow. So, snuck out here, gave these a sand, and I'm pre-positioning. I'm going to take the rudder outside. My hanger, as expected, is leaking. It's raining outside. I'm just getting the odd drop here, there and everywhere. So the tent's paid for itself. The rudder, the fin I'm going to hang up there on these soft cords I've got there. That'll hang up somewhere where I can do the top and also spray the bottom, because that's both sides at once. Now the rudder's not sanded yet, I ran out of time. That'll go outside. That's going to be brilliant white with red, white and blue. All the rest I'll show you the colours I've worked out. The bottom, drain holes, top down, and I've got drain holes. Believe it or not, I've gone over the edges again with the iron. You sort of drag the iron down and sort of weld that stuff on and sand. You've got to be super careful. There's a compromise between hooking in with the sandpaper and breaking through the fabric, and it becomes a bit of a redo. Now I do notice I've got a couple of bubbles here, there and everywhere, so it's a good time to go home. I'm going to come back in tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes. I'm going to go and buy my paint, and then we'll lay some paint tomorrow. I'll spray paint on 3 coats, maybe 2 on the bottom, I'm not sure. Probably a mist coat and 2 wet coats. This is the bottom, so the bottom, just the bottom, and both sides of the fin. Then I'll sand the rudder, do that separately. I did say I didn't want to paint too many parts at once in case it all goes a bit funny. Now bear with me on this. So my test piece here, I've got a white base for the roundels, etc. I tried antique white, and I don't know why I didn't like that. Oh, a bit darker. I went a little bit darker with the tailored linen. This is a Taubman's colour, tailored linen, which I've brushed on here rather quickly and a bit khaki. So this is what I do. Around the triangle there is antique white. There's the difference between antique and tailored linen. So it's a little bit more eggy or buttery. That'll be the bottom surfaces and the fin. And then the rudder will be a brilliant white. So there's a slight difference between the rudder and the fin. Not really worth it, but that's what I'm going with. So I've got my folder. The trick to going to the hardware shop is not telling them you're painting an aeroplane, I guess. Got my colour samples. I'm going with 4 litres or a gallon. 4 litres, 4 litres, a litre of white base, a litre of red and a litre of blue. Then I've also dug out off the computer how to paint roundels, how I'm going to do my fin and rudder, good for the sticker locations. Consideration there is on the other side, you know, this all needs to be shunted the other way because it faces the other way, obviously. A bit of playing around. I've decided on the aircraft I'm going to copy. It's basically pretty much a simple version. Well, Wonga Bonga is basically the one I'm going to copy, probably without the Wonga Bonga, and it's going to look something like this. So the olive drab roundels top and bottom wing as well. See, my colour is slightly different to the Tamiya or whatever you want to call it. I've actually lost the, looks like I've lost tailored linen colour. Better get rid of antique white so I don't get confused. Yeah, bottom all one colour, top all one colour. The fin, see how the fin's the bottom colour and the white, and registration number with a roundel on the side. So I found all these online. I may or may not do a letter or a number, I'm not sure. I like to look at the aeroplane and, you know, if there's a big vast area, put a stripe or a letter. I'll make it up as I go along. So something along the lines of this fella is what we're looking at. Wonga Bonga. I just don't like, who knows, if I have a run or something there, I might end up putting the Wonga Bonga or Snoopy up the front, I'm not sure. Registration I think will be 2024 for 2024, the year. So like this, I found this one, photo of it in the mist. Relatively simple. The roundels go with that, the wood and the aluminium. There's not a great deal of information online. This one's pretty popular over in New Zealand. And heaps of different colours there. How about a pale blue one? This will also give me a rough guide on where the roundels are situated. So we'll go with that. Alright guys, back in. Just been down to Bunnings, got my paint. It's, let's go to the weather wall. It's pouring down outside, 9 degrees, really wet. So, I don't think I'm going to paint. Everything's cold and miserable and damp. Feel the moisture in the air. It shouldn't really matter. Like if I was at home, I'd paint my bedroom walls. So I'll just wait. I've done all this work. Just wait for a nicer afternoon. Even though I've got an artificial, climate in there, if you like, you get uneven temperatures and all sorts of stuff going on. If you remember back to the cruiser, I mucked around with heaters for the paint and all sorts of rubbish. Didn't really need that in the end. It was just thinning the paint. But start of winter, it's just no good. We won't paint today. Ironically, when I went down to pick up my paint from Bunnings, the hardware store here in Australia, the roof was leaking. I found that quite funny, actually. The roof's leaking in the hardware store. I've pointed out to the guy where the silicon was, aisle 5, but anyway. So, what are we going to do today? I've got the rudder to finish sanding. Sand that. I've got to get the soldering iron out. There's a couple of holes that I haven't recovered. Might even do my drain holes. I was thinking on the way in, if I run the soldering iron through the drain holes and I accidentally go through the top, it's probably better to fix that now than it is to when it's nicely painted. We'll go over them one more time, get the area ready to paint, and then we'll look at the fuselage. Alright guys, checking in for a bit of an update. Bit disappointed in myself, to be honest. I've been mucking around all day with my spray gun and my system that I've got, just because I think it's cool to be a spray painter. Watched all the videos you can. I managed to paint the painted the cruiser, but that was painful, to be honest. So I think it's staring me in the face. I've cleaned the gun, I've put the gun away. I've got one sprayed coat on the bottom surfaces, and I did the fin as well. I just had to thin the paint like 50%. And with the fin vertical, the paint doesn't want to hang on to it. It's okay, it's recoverable. I've got the rudders on the bench there. So I'm going to use a roller. I'm going to use a 4-inch roller. It's worked so far with the primer, and also it allows me to use the paint. Like the paints, there's a lot of technology in external house paint nowadays, and I can put it on straight out of the can, thick, roll it on, let it do its thing. I think I'm mucking with the properties of the paint, to be honest. So I've put I did a cross coat, and it's sketchy. There's no runs or anything, but it's okay. But I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to roll the coat and just do one side at a time. The good thing with the roller in the tent, I can do 3 different colours at once, 3 different parts, 3 different colours if I wanted to. And for the type of aircraft it is, and I'm not using this as an excuse, but I've spoken to other guys and they've used a 4-inch roller and it's come out okay. If you get the sort of texture you get on your walls at home, so be it. It'll just suit this aircraft, I think. So we'll give that a go, and hopefully I did the bottom surfaces, so it's not too bad. Another 2 coats with the roller, and I'm going to pack up my spray gear, still in the tent, and back to basics for me. Alright guys, what a day. I'm only on my 2nd cup of coffee today, and it's knockoff. What did I learn? Probably should have gone with my gut instinct, I think, at the start. And what other people were telling me, just roll it on. It's funny when you go to the paint shop and, oh, what are you painting? Because I've got some weird colours, like olive drab. I'm painting an aeroplane. Not with that, you're not. Yeah. I think they only know 2 types of aeroplanes, Qantas or Virgin. But what did I learn? I've been going at this all day. All best intentions not to make a mess, paint everywhere. Washed my hands about 40 times. Do you want to have a look at what I've done? So we've rolled on the second coat of linen colour. Still see some grey through that as I walk around. It hasn't flashed off yet at all. I've literally just come out and washed the brush. The good thing with rolling, so you can see my two different colours. I've got linen for the fin and like brilliant white or base white for the rudder. That's had two coats. It's really sucking it in. I'm not sure it's meant to suck it in, but it is. And the fin was an absolute disaster, to be honest. Now it's turned out great. Got that second coat just on one side. Having it hanging up and spraying it, nightmare. I hereby retire as a spray painter, I think. I feel my voice going funny, probably should wear a mask. Now the horizontal, as the first bit I did, that's going to come up a treat, absolute treat. Starting to shrink down. She's going to be a 5-footer, guys. I'll stand back 5 feet and it's going to look fantastic. Another coat of linen will go on that tomorrow. Flip this guy over, I think. Got to keep track of all this. Flip it over and make it one coat. Flip that over. That's had two coats. Like the first coat sort of just goes on all wispy. Just get it on. We'll call that one coat. Do the same to the other side. So it's good having, I've got 2 rollers and 2 pots. Throw them in the fridge, keep them going, so you can paint 2 different colours right next to each other like that. And another coat on the bottom of the elevator. It's a bit clearer now that I've done my, see I've punched out the drain holes. So what started as a bit of a disaster day, not a disaster, just a learning curve. Sometimes, you know, I thought it was just too easy to do it with a roller, to be honest. I'm not high-fiving myself yet. I'm not over the hump. But I've done enough painting at home with walls and that to know that this is going to pull down really nicely. What I mean by pull down, all the little fuzz and the roller marks sort of just shrink or evaporate, whatever happens. I'm sure people will tell me. And you get 3 good thick, you know, those prickly coats with the roller. Because I was thinning it down to spray and mucking around with the spray, I think I got an air leak in my, if you don't put the cap on properly on the HVLP system, because you're only spraying at 5 psi, believe it or not, and if the cap's not on tight, you get a tiny leak, which you mix up your paint, you pour it in, and you're keen to get spraying, you're not too worried about, you know, sealing the cap. But if it's hissing slightly, you don't get that full force because it's a pressurised system. So that's my excuse anyway. I've learned my lesson. We're going to roll it on because I'm looking ahead to the wings as well. You know, I have a whole wing in here, just roll on the paint, should be okay, and go and build something else or cover the other wings. Got my practice, or got my ducks in a row now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.